Right, so I just wanted to show you a quick way of making little springs for like little mouse traps like this. See the spring on there? And on that one. And these springs are surprisingly strong as well. That takes a fair bit of pressure to push those down. And they spring up really good. So I'll just tell you a couple of things first. So I've seen online quite a few different things of making springs. And I even watched an English bloke make a mole trap. And he'd said about using high tensile fencing wire. Now whether that is completely different to the stuff I've got, but the stuff I've got doesn't seem like it would do it. And this, I think it's a hard one to say, whether his wire was different or he'd set it up in a different way. But I've tried it with fencing wire before, and it doesn't seem to have the same spring. So this is normal galvanised fencing wire. I've turned it a few times. Yeah, it does spring up, but it's got no real force to it. These little ones have got much more force to them than this galvanised fencing wire. But like I said, whether the wire they was using was different, I don't know. It just said it was high tensile. But if you look online for high tensile, you'll get this stuff as well. So that's not got much strength to it. And then the other option was buying piano wire or music wire, but the price you get, the price you pay for what you get is quite a bit of money, especially if you only want to make a couple of little mouse traps or something. So I thought of a way of doing it. So I was looking around the garden for any bits of metal I could cut up, and I was looking and I noticed I had a couple of bike wheels in the garden. So I thought, I wonder if I cut a spoke off and try that, whether that'll work. So I'll cut one off and show you, and it does work definitely. Right, so this is how I did it. Got the wheel. At the end, see, it's kind of like it's got a hook end and then like a threaded end. So at this end, I'll just cut it off. You could cut it both ends if you just want that little bit more, and then push it through and get it back through there. Like I said though, you could just cut it either end, and that's what you've got. They don't make massive springs, but they make enough, 100% enough for a mouse trap. Maybe if you rigged them up slightly different, you could probably make a rat trap out of it. Depends how you set them up. For example, here's one I made earlier. See if I can just zoom this in. See that? That ends for screwing. That ends for attaching whatever part of the trap. Now, if you only had a short bit here, then you loop, you could get a much longer bit there. So you could get them a fair bit longer. I'll try making a few later and show you different ones, different sizes you can make. But these have got some really good spring to them. They're decent. So I'll show you how to actually make the spring now. So you will probably need a vise. Now I've seen people use things like this, when they've got a piece of metal with a slot cut in, and you put it in and you twist it round and round and round. That's alright, but obviously if you're only making them that small, they're going to need a very small piece of metal with a slot in it, which I didn't have. So a screwdriver and a vise will do it. So what you want to do with a bit of metal, kind of think about or select roughly where you want to do your spring part, your turns. So say you want to do it a couple of inches. If you wanted it with something like an eye like that for screwing, you'd want to just do that first. But you can just do that with a pair of pliers. That's how I did that one. and you know where that is, and where you want to do your actual turns, you want to put it in a vise. I might see if I can get a fairly long one with this one. Hold that in there as close to the edge of the vise as you can get it. See there? Make sure this is all tight, and be careful that you don't flick out and it hit you in the eye or anything. And then just start winding it around the screwdriver, trying to keep it all as close to the last turn as possible. Depending on how springy you want it is how far or how close you want them together, if you know what I mean. So that's what we got there, like that. So that's quite a long one now. Now if you think it's open like that a little bit there, you see it's open a little bit, and I'll just put it in the vise and just squash it together a bit. You can always bend these around a bit more if you want to. Now you've got a spring there that can work with different traps. That's quite a long one on that one. So you can see how I've got it there. So like I said, if you wanted to attach it to something, you could bend this bottom bit round into an eye, or you could just nail that down. There's all sorts of ways of attaching them. Then this other end, because it's got the hook on it, you could leave it like that, or you could just carry on bending it round with a pair of pliers. It's a normal pair of pliers, like need one of those pliers like that, will bend it round. For example, just a piece of wood like that, you could chisel a little groove in there, put that in, and you got a spring for a trap there. Like that. Or if you didn't want it like that, you could bend this one round so it's straight down, then put an eye on it so it's more upright, kind of like that. That's how you can make springs out of bicycle spokes. You can see that on there. Underneath there was the eye. Underneath there was the eye, and I did the loop for the spring there, and I did two more loops, one loop for a snare and one loop for the trigger part. I'll show you this one later when I've finished it. They've got really good spring on them. I thought an bicycle spoke would work. It definitely does. And this one's even stronger because it's smaller. And the way I've done this one is I'll just drill the hole straight down, put the spring inside it, but instead of having the spring like this, the bottom piece came straight down. So I drilled a hole, pushed it in, glued it, and hammered a nail in behind it, and then glued it again. So there's loads of ways of attaching them. Just use your imagination, however you see fit. Like that one, and that one would go on top like that, screwed in. You could screw it and put a staple over the top as well. Right, anyway, that's how to make springs out of bicycle spokes. Cheers for watching, I'll see you later.